Hello, Chargers. Mrs. Boyd coming here to you, talking about perfect squares today, section 8.9. This is where we're going to put all the things we know about factoring together and do it. So let's just get into it. So first thing we're going to look for is factor out the greatest common factor. I'm looking at both of these terms, 5x squared and negative 80. I know they don't both have an x, but I can divide them both by 5. So let's make that our first move. We're going to factor a 5 out. And I'm left with x squared minus, I should have done this before I started, was 16. There we go. Now I see something already. Yesterday we did the difference of squares. So x squared is a perfect square. And negative 16 is a perfect square. There's a minus in the middle. That's everything I need. So the square root of x squared is x. The square root of 16 is 4. So I can put 5 in the front. It has to stay. 2 parentheses, an x in front, 1 plus, 1 minus, and 4 is in the back. And that's it. We did it. Put together everything that I needed to factor this polynomial and totally did it. Try the next one. See if you can pull back and for all of the info that we've talked about so far, and you can totally do it. Pause the video, do it. All right, let's see. I can't divide them all by anything. I can divide 25 and 30 by 5. I can divide 30 and 9 by 3, but not all of them by one particular thing. So we're going to have to do the slip and slide method. So I'm going to do my S and S for slip and slide. 25 is going to come down and multiply with 9. And when we do that, we get, 225. So that's not it. X squared minus 30x plus 225. Here's where we make our table. A times C is 225. B is negative 30. That means both of our factors are going to be negative. Can't divide 225 by a whole lot yet but 1. So negative 1, negative 225. Can't divide by 2. I can do negative 3 and 75. Can't do 4. I can divide by 5 and get negative 5. Oh, it's negative 2. And negative 45. Getting closer. Can't divide by 6. Can't divide by 7 or 8. I can divide by 9. Negative 9 and negative 25. Not 10 or 11, not 12. I'm just going to check them and make sure. I've got my own calculator here at home. Not 13, not 14. I can do 15. Minus 15 and minus 15. Hallelujah. That adds up to negative 30. So I've got 2 parentheses, x in front, minus 15 on the back of each. Now I'm going to do, that one's done. I'm going to do the slide part where I take 25 and put it underneath both of these. Now I have to simplify. So I can divide 15 and 25 by 5, and I get x minus 3 over 5. That's not what I want. I want to pull 5 out in front. And I've got 5x minus 3. Well, it just so happens that the other parentheses is going to be the exact same thing. 5x minus 3. So I can rewrite that 5x minus 3 squared because it's the same thing twice. Holy smokes. I hope that was easier for you than it was for me. Moving on. Same idea here. We want to use all the tools that we have to solve this, but now here's this pesky equal sign where we're going to have x equals some things at the end. So we want 0 to be on the right all by itself. So I'm going to add, that's a 4, 64, holy cow, to each side. So we've got 9x squared minus 48x plus 64 equals 0. So we're going to do the slip and slide method again. So I'm going to write S and S up here. I'm going to slip my 9 down, mark that S off, and I've got x squared minus 48x plus 576 equals, that's supposed to be an equals. Let's erase that. Equals 0. So we need to make a little chart here. A times C is 576. B is negative 48. I cheated a little here. And I paused while I was recording and found out what these factors are. Negative 24 times negative 24. Whew, that was a tough one. So we've got x in the front minus 24 in each one. We do the slide part. Take 9 and put it on the bottom. I can reduce that to, we can divide everything by 3 and get 8 over 3. So this becomes just like the one above it, 3x minus 8 and 3x minus 8. So that is 3x minus 8 squared. And that equals 0. So I only have I have 2 factors, but they're the exact same. So I only have to do 3x minus 8 equals 0 once and solve for x. There's no need to do it twice. We'll get the same answer twice. So add 8, and we get 3x equals 8. And then divide by 3, and x equals 8 thirds. And that is our answer. Whew. All right. Last little bit here we're going to do, and then you're going to get some practice. We want to solve these equations. So what you'll notice is I've got on the left, I've got a little expression here that is a square. It's got a square on the exponent here. And on the right, I've also got a perfect square. So to get, the only thing that gets rid of a perfect square is a square root. So I can do this square root of each side, and that gets rid of the square on this side, and I'm only left with y minus 6. And then the square root of 81 is 9. But what we don't know for sure is if it was a positive or a negative 9 when it was squared, because they're the same answer. So I'm going to make it plus or minus 9. So now I know what y is, but there's 2 possibilities. Could be positive 9 or negative 9 that's with the y minus 6. So we're going to account for both and say that y minus 6 equals 9 and y minus 6 equals negative 9. We solve for y here both times. Add 6 and we get y is 15. Add 6 and we get y is negative 3. So if we plug negative 3 and 15 back into our original equation, let's do that real quick, or I will. You get 15 minus 6 squared. 15 minus 6 is 9 squared, and that does in fact equal 81. And negative 3 is in there. You get negative 3 minus 6 squared. That's negative 9 squared, and that is also 81. Let's look here at the next one. 12 is definitely not what that is supposed to be. Let's rewrite this, and instead of thinking about it being 12, let's make it 16. Try this on your own. Ready, set, go. All right, so let's check it out here. We've got a perfect square on the left, a perfect square on the right. Let's do that square root. It erases that square and makes it just x plus 6 equals 16 is a perfect square. The square root of that is plus or minus 4. So set it up twice like we did above. X plus 6 equals 4, and x plus 6 equals negative 4. I subtract 6 and get x equals negative 2, and x equals negative 10. I didn't do this above, but I should have. Should represent our answer in 1, x equals negative 2, comma, negative 10, like we did above. Let's plug it in and test it and make sure we did a good job. We have negative 2 plus 6 squared. That's 4 squared, which is definitely 16. We have negative 10 plus 6 squared. That is negative 4 squared, which is definitely 16 as well. We did it. Hooray! Okay, you guys, good luck. I hope you get it. Let me know if you have questions. See you soon. Peace.